Warning!
To the goofball army out there, hi at the families, tell them to get to the next room, tell them to go to your neighbors, because we got goofball news to go over, and it might get crazy.
Typically does, guys. If this is your first episode ever, you got like 30 seconds before we start, so not enough time to go to the bathroom, but go get a drink, because trust me, you're probably going to need it there. In the meantime, the rest, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. That way you know about future episodes as well, guys. Buckle your seatbelts if you haven't already. Make sure your tray is in the upright position here, guys, because we are just about ready to get going. And like, oof.
Guys, if you want a crazy ride going forward, a bunch of nonsense, but all nothing but the truth about the Giants, listen in, buckle in, tell a friend.
Let's go.
And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
me, Rob. And let's get right to the point with the dart, shall we?
Yes, as we've learned that it didn't matter who was right on Monday, Rob or me, because Brian Dable has said that I'm right, which just makes me think I'm wrong.
Probably. How do you feel about the apples?
Not very good, to be very frank with you, because that's just what, the way the system is with Brian Dable at that point. If he says it's the right move, I just assume it's the wrong one now. That's kind of sad that I've gotten that with our head coach,
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you think it's more of a gameplay, or is it to try to save his career?
Well, first, let's actually say what we're talking about, just in case someone's living under a rock here. Jaxson Dart. The Dart season has begun, as Jaxson Dart has officially been announced the starter for the game against the Chargers here. But not just for the game against the Chargers, but Brian Dable already said he intends to have him as the starter the rest of the season.
I mean, might as well at that point.
Out of the bottle to go ahead and put him back in the bottle. But when you say it that way, this is part of why I really dislike Brian Dable. When you say it that way, you've literally taken that option off the table. You could have said, listen, things always can change here. We're going to go with Jaxson Dart going forward is the plan. Not, hey, he's our starter for the rest of the season, no matter what. Like, so if the guy falls on his butt horribly for the first 3 games, now you can't pull him. And then try to work him in a couple weeks and maybe put him back out there towards the end of the season. Like, that option's off the table now. Dable is a dirt. Like, that's just what it is. But I don't expect him to fail that miserably. Don't get me wrong. That's obviously not what I'm hoping for. It's not what I think is going to happen. But again, you just don't take options like that off the table. That's stupid. And to your question you had, I 100% believe this is Brian Dable trying to save his job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, and I honestly, I'll even go this far. I would love to know who made this decision. Was it Brian Dable even?
Joe Schoen.
Was it even Joe Schoen? Because I could see anybody. We've talked about for a while now that Dable and Schoen should have been fired at the end of the year. And then on top of that, you got the idea that now they've failed, and we think that those guys probably aren't going to be there. What would stop somebody like a John Mayer or somebody else saying, we're going to go ahead and start Jaxson Dart, and that's what we want you guys to just do going forward. And then behind closed doors, you're saying, well, yeah, we're probably going to fire these 2 knuckleheads at the end of the year. Let's at least give their quarterback a shot.
That could be the case too, but I mean, listen, we don't have to go down the rat again, but you're going to put them. You have the worst scored offense going against one of the best points allowed against defenses.
Yeah.
So it's a tough challenge to go in week 1.
Yeah, it is what it is. From the flame to the fire at that point. So, let's go over
what right in the volcano.
What do we expect from Jaxson Dart? Let's go over that there. Because there's going to be a difference, obviously, in this offense, having Jaxson Dart over Russell Wilson. Whether good or bad, we're going to find out on Sunday, at least I should say in the next weeks, because Sunday, you can't judge him either way off the one. But here's what I'm looking at. I think the biggest difference you're going to see is designed run plays for the quarterback. Kind of like a lot what you saw with Daniel Jones, dare I say. You're going to see a lot of that because Jaxson Dart is mobile. He's able to run. Like, look at what, they did with Russell Wilson, design runs they had with him. And he's the guy who literally can't even run anymore. And they still decide to go ahead and design runs for him. Imagine with a really good mobile quarterback, what they could do.
A really young quarterback that doesn't need to lube up with being gay before he gets out to the field.
Yeah. I mean, I think the running by design is definitely going to be there. I think we're also going to see a more explosive offense. We talked about it again. I even said to you guys before the freaking Chiefs game, I said, listen, look at what the Bears did with the Cowboys. I don't trust a damn thing of what I saw in week 2. And if you take that out, this offense is absolutely inept. You're literally games that look so goddamn horrible. It's not even funny.
And the Bears, and then the defensive of that, Caleb Williams is the top. I want to say he's right there, the top 5 most yards in a quarterback right now in the league.
Yes, because he's got them all against the Cowboys.
That's not true. Just saying.
Let's go. Let's go to the tail of the tape here. We get sidetracked here again. Yeah. So he's averaging just over 200 yards in the 2 games. That's not horrible. Don't get me wrong. It's not great. That put him at what, 3,500 yards in the season. So I'm saying he's not one of the top ones.
I'm saying right now it sits. As right now it sits.
Because he played a third of his games against the crappiest defense that made Russell Wilson look like the old Russell Wilson.
Listen, I'm just saying Caleb Williams and Russell Wilson had more yards than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that's not saying much. Anyway, back to Jaxson Dart. That's the topic. God damn it. Let's pop some Ritalin. Again, run by design, more explosive offenses, I think, as well. Because again, we got the occasional bomb from Wilson that Cowboys game, and that's it. Like 2 or 3 games there, this team looked absolutely inept on offense, and I don't think you're going to see that anymore. I think we've talked about it before. Russell Wilson has trouble seeing the middle of the field. Probably, I don't know. I hate to say it this way, maybe a height thing.
100% a height thing.
Yeah,
and he's not. Well, the thing was, like, he didn't have that problem early in his career because he was mobile early in his career. He was able to get out of the pocket and throw. Yep. And what his idol did, because the short guy with Drew Brees. He took a couple steps back, but he also got out of the game early.
Drew Brees?
Yeah.
He was old in 40s when he left.
Was he 40s?
Yes.
Oh, then Russ, you suck.
He was like 41 when he retired. Let me see. Yeah, 41 is last season.
Oh, what? Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. So he's still be playing for 5 more years if he was Russell Wilson. But like I said, I just think he has trouble with that. And like you said, it's the mobility thing. Jaxson Dart won't have that problem. He's not that short. He's also got the ability to go ahead, and that means hit the slant routes more, which you haven't seen a ton of. You'd hit more at that point the tight end, which Theo Johnson catch the goddamn ball. You had those drops week 1, just saying. You see a lot more stuff like that. He's still got a good deep ball to him. It may not be as good as Russell Wilson's was, but let's be honest here. What we see in week 3, moon balls that were missing Earth entirely and going to Mars.
Pretty much.
Like
they may have been skipping Mars and going right to Saturn.
Yeah. So, yeah, not exactly the greatest offense, especially the red zone. That's one thing I expect as well. I expect a better red zone offense, and part of that goes back to the mobility of Jaxson Dart. He's not a guy who literally runs around like he has freaking cinder blocks for cleats on, and that's what you saw with Russell Wilson. I can't believe how slow Russell Wilson has gotten. Jaxson Dart is going to have that speed. So, like, when you got a play where maybe Russell Wilson gets 2-3 yards, well, guess what? That's probably 6-7 yards with Jaxson Dart just because of the speed difference.
Yeah, listen, I told Russ when I saw him at the Golden Corral that he needed to step away from the buffet line.
Wow, the Golden Corral.
Beat you to it, Jay.
Yeah, but I expect that, and if you look at what happened, also that Chiefs game. The big thing people keep talking about is the red zone opportunity where he kept throwing to the field goal posts instead of players. Like, Again, that was the middle of the field. You know, like that's where it was. It was the middle of the field. He was having trouble seeing what's going on. Jaxson Dart won't have this problem.
No.
You know, I think that's all positive stuff to expect. You should expect more runs by design. You should expect a more explosive offense, and you should expect a better run zone offense. Here's what you should not expect, though. Mistake-free football. There's got to be mistakes.
It's going to be a lot. Well, listen, we're used to mistakes, so there's going to be different mistakes out there. But you've seen plenty of mistakes in this offense this year.
Yeah,
in the past 4, well, 3.5, whatever.
It's going to be some frustrating mistakes, is what I'm getting at, because there's going to be growing pains. That's what happens to any rookie. You know, we can't expect him to go in like DJ did and beat, you know, the way DJ beat the Bucs in his first game there back in week 3, you know, when he was a rookie. Like, that's probably not going to happen, guys. But what you're hoping more is sound football from overall, a couple mistakes, because he's going to make them, that he can learn from and not make the same damn mistakes all over again. You know? But then I expect him to hold on to the ball too long. That's a very typical rookie thing. The NCAA clock is not the same as the NFL clock. Like, you get a little more time when you're playing on a really good team in college compared to what you get in the NFL. And I think, especially with our offensive line, like, that's something that he's going to have to figure out. And that's something I heard a lot about from, you know, media people that were actually at the practices and all with the Giants as well when he back in training camp and all, is he was holding onto the ball too long. Now, we didn't see that really in the preseason too much. You did see it occasionally.
Yeah.
But again, playing vanilla defense at that point.
Also seeing Scadaboo come and taking actual real football, not just preseason. Expect Scadaboo. I mean, obviously Tracy's out, but expect Scadaboo back there a lot, because he looked pretty solid against the pass block.
Yeah, and that's going to definitely help him there. But like I said, he's not going to have that same internal clock that a veteran is going to have like that. It's just not going to be there. You know, you got to expect mistakes. You got to expect some miscues as well, meaning that he's might not be as used to some of the players and some of the offense. But that part, I think you don't notice as much because of the fact that Russell Wilson himself was his first year as a Giant. You know, we don't have a quarterback on the roster that was here last year. So, I think the biggest thing of what to expect from Dart, expect him to have his struggles. This Chargers defense, guys, is really good. Like, we can't say enough. And we're going to go over later on our preview here of the game and give you guys kind of heads up on where they're at defensively. But this is a really good Chargers defense.
Yeah.
And I think you got to understand that when you're going in and playing a top 10 defense in your very first NFL game, you're going to struggle at times.
Yeah, top 10 defense, but when it comes to yards against, I think they're at 16.7 or 17.7. Like, I think the ranked number 4 as it sits today.
Wait, hold on, what do you mean 17.7 yards against?
Oh, that they have allowed the defense.
Are you saying 17.7? What do you mean 17.7 yards?
That's the average points. So when you take like the
yards, that's why I was all confused.
Yeah. Points against.
Yeah. So their points is, and I got that stat here actually, because I got that for later on here, 16.7 points per game, which is 4.
No, it's right, 16 right over.
Yeah. That's what I was like. I thought you said yards. That's what I heard you say yards. Like, yards. Wait a minute.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, like I said, you're gonna have to expect this, guys. That just is what it is. Well, I see you guys in the comments talking about it too. Here, let's get into it here. As Anthony says, it's dart season. Let that kid cook. He's gonna get a full chance in the kitchen.
Let him fly. He's a dart.
As Jay says, I'm always thinking I'm watching a repeat because Drew never changes his shirt. I changed my shirt. I'm sorry. Do I have not enough fashion for you at that point? I have enough options in my shirts. Sheesh.
It's not, man.
It is what it is. I have like 6-7 shirts and that's it. I don't care. Who am I trying to
impress? There's a lot of laundry.
Who am I trying to impress? I'm already married. Jay says, it's okay. She knows. Jay says, do you guys think anyone deserves heat for carrying 3 quarterbacks and $10 million for 3 games of rust? No. I don't think so. You got to realize you also signed Russell Wilson before you drafted Jaxson Dart. You didn't know you'd be able to get necessarily Jaxson Dart, because what happens if we weren't able to trade down and somebody else took him before him? You had to have that option.
Yeah. And listen, on paper, look at how Russ played last year, the year before. 3 years ago with the Broncos, yeah, terrible. Last year, he seemed serviceable. He also had a better offensive line. And his last year with the Broncos, which is the year before, he played pretty good. He didn't play as bad as he's playing right now, but when you got a guy that's playing serviceable football, we'll say mediocre football, that's been to the Pro Bowl, 10 times we said, been 2 Super Bowls, won 1, has been the MVP of 1. Like, that's a pretty good resume to teach someone coming in. Like, when we got him, we talked about that. If you say we get that at Dart, we've won. So, like, to have a guy that's possibly to teach that, yeah, that's worth the money.
And we're talking $10 million, guys. Like, he's basically making, the same as like a first round rookie, at that point makes. If you look at some of the top backups like Jacoby Brissett, Tyrod Taylor, these guys are making $6-7 million a year. So I can't really call Russell Wilson an overpay at $10 million. Plus, again, if you hadn't had Dart, then it's a totally different story. So I'm not upset about the Russell Wilson thing, but I also agree what you're saying. To have him as a veteran presence at that point, I think that's a good job as well, because he can teach him how to handle media, hopefully without the cringeworthy, let's ride and Mr. Unlimited and all that kind of crap. But he can teach him as far as things to say to the media. He can teach him to go ahead and how to learn to be, to prep for games and different things he's learned all his years. I'm with it. I'm still not upset with the move in any way, shape, or form. I still would have been okay with just Jameis Winston too, but it is what it is. We didn't pay him $30-40 million or anything crazy. So,
no.
Anthony says, I don't know, Drew. I think if Jaxson Dart wins games, it saves their jobs. That's the one downfall of having Jaxson Dart in.
100%.
I want those two gone so bad it's not even funny. Anthony says, Jay, we should have left Russ at the bus station. Were you guys on a bus with him or something? Did I miss this? Jay said, that's a good linebacker or guard center. Who? I don't know who he's talking about. He says that whole Russ thing was stupid, and how the Giants media narrative was that it was some big upgrade. I could smell the BS from across the country, AC. I said, I don't know that it's total BS. I think we're learning more and more with the success of Daniel Jones, and we'll see how that progresses still throughout the year, because I'm still not convinced he'll keep that up. But we're learning more and more, I think, that it's the coaching staff. And if you really think it's the coaching, well, it's because, we're finally seeing things, I'm just saying, like, if you think it's the coaching staff, do you really think that you can sit there and say this is all on Russell Wilson? Look at the success that DJ's having right now. Is it all Russell Wilson?
No. He went to... Like, I'm not saying the coaching staff at the Colts is fantastic, but they've been competent enough the past couple of years to right by the playoffs. Like, besides with Fred Saturday,
quarterback.
Yeah,
saying, like, it's not crazy to think though that it might not be all Russell Wilson's fault. Jay says, I think it's weird how some people make the decision to not like Caleb Williams. I don't dislike Caleb Williams. Let me be very clear on that. I think he's overhyped, and I don't think he's that good. Nothing against him personally, except it's weird he cried in his mommy's lap still in his senior year of college. I'm sorry. I can't get past that. I know it's been a couple of years now. I can't get past that.
No. I think he's like the Geno Smith of the future. Like, that's...
Oh, damn. No, I think he's better than Geno. He's still, I think he's still a quarterback in this league. I think he's still a starting quarterback in this league even. I just don't think he'll ever be elite.
No. I mean, look at Geno. Well, reemergence Geno Smith. Right.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think he'll stick around as a starter. He'll just be like more like a Derek Carr.
I'm not saying like he's going to be. No, I don't think Derek Carr.
I think Derek Carr.
Geno Smith with Seahawks had a better.
I just think that's what he is overall. Is he's that level of player. a guy you could start with as an NFL franchise, but not a guy that you're like, oh my God, this is the guy to build around.
Yeah, that's what's going with Geno Smith. Geno Smith, 3 years he was Seahawks, he was top 10 quarterback play.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think he's ever gonna be that good still, but he's not gonna. I think he'll stick around.
You just said that
because Geno spent all those years of crap. You can't just ignore that. So, Jason, have you noticed that Dable has played 7 quarterbacks in the system? They were all bad. Maybe it's him now. DJ is good. Well, what about Drew Lock? He looked great against the Colts.
That's what I say. That's the only start he had. That's about.
He looked great in all this stuff.
Actually, wait. No one wants to get rid of Tommy DeVito. That's the only time that he played.
No, but he's not wrong, and that's why I'm saying that. Like, we have to include this as part of this. Like, to blame this whole situation on Russ when he is now the 5th quarterback or 6th quarterback to fail. I mean, you think about it. You had DeVito never made it as a starter. Not that I ever thought he would, but he didn't make it as a starter. Daniel Jones didn't make it as a Giant starter. Tyrod Taylor didn't make it necessarily with the Giants. Drew Lock didn't make it with the Giants. I mean, you can go Davis Webb. I don't know where you want to go, how many quarterbacks, but there's not a single quarterback that looked good in the system. Not a single one.
Drew Lock did great for one game that he played.
That's it. Anthony says, Jay, I'm still not sold that DJ's actually good. We've seen this before from him. I'm with you on that 100%. So Jay's laughing at your Golden Corral joke. Jay says, I'm not sold that he is good, but I'm sold that he can play well the whole season with that team. We'll find out.
He's definitely all right. So Drew, plus or minus, over under 3,400 yards.
I'm going to say this, slightly over, but my bigger thing is he's going to be down on touchdowns from what you'd expect from a typical starting quarterback with that level of yards.
I wouldn't. I mean, because what they're going to do is they're going to get to the red zone and give it to JT over there.
Exactly.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, I didn't say why. I'm just saying he's going to have less touchdowns. He's going to dink and dunk him down the field, and then they're going to let him or either one of them at that point, because Daniel Jones, as we learned as well, is also very good at red zone runner.
Yes, expect about the same amount of touchdowns from him.
Yeah. Anthony says, haven't we seen a whole bunch of mistakes with Russ? Yes, we have. Now we get to see a whole new set of mistakes.
All new ones.
Yep.
All new ones.
Am I the only one?
There's more.
Devs, am I the only one who was impressed that Russ threw a ball into the tunnel? I don't know. He can still throw the ball deep. Like I said, we've seen that. But he's got a problem with the whole short and midfield. That's the problem. Jay says, that's a nice old running back, receivers, and a smart offensive coach. He just has to distribute the ball. And that's talking about Daniel Jones there in Cleveland. He says, Russ, it's like Willie Mays on the Mets, Deb. I won't go that far. Willie Mays, and again, I wasn't around for that. I don't want to make it seem like that, but I heard really bad things about Willie Mays as a Met. Like really, really, really bad. Anthony says, did you guys see the smile on Leak's face today? This team is going to get a big spike in energy. I don't disagree with you at all on that part there. It's definitely going to be a big spike of energy. The big thing is you can't come out having the same offense we've had. And that's my biggest concern, is that we still have the same guys coaching the offensive side of the football. Still got Kafka, still got Brian Dable. So you can still expect bullshit play calling. You still expect issues. So that's the problem there. Jason's, hell yeah, AC. I expect all the players to play much better with Darkman. I think, like I said, they'll get energized, that's for sure. Deb says, I hope we see Turbo on Sunday. Yes, we are very much hoping that ourselves. I will be very, very ecstatic the first time we see a screenplay with Turbo Miller.
Yeah.
He was the king of screams. King of screams. So, in fact, maybe we give him that nickname, he can be a guy who fixes screen patios later on when he retires. The king of screens. Jay says, Vanilla Neil got to get the turd in the punch bowl. We were having so much fun getting excited about Dart. Thanks. I'm keeping it realistic with you guys. This is what it is. Anthony says it's going to be exciting, Jay and Deb. I'd love to see Turbo on the screens this weekend. They see. Jay says Russ has never had an understudy. Well, he did now. Anthony says, I wonder if he has unlimited Gatorades on the bench. Unlimited.
Just the blue ones.
Yeah. Jay says Russ has never been a backup either. Well, again, he is now. It's the first time for everything and a few things here. He says he used to promote some water candy, and Russ said it stopped concussions. What? That's almost as bad as when Tom Brady was selling anti-COVID or immunity boosting. I should say anti-COVID, immunity boosting supplements that he literally put out the second COVID became a thing. That was very classless.
Yeah.
Anthony says, I'll loudly say I don't like Caleb Williams. He came in way too loud for someone who doesn't play well enough for the talk. And he says, Jay says, what did he say? And Anthony says, he said he can do everything Patrick Mahomes could do. Well, I don't mind the confidence. Jay says, our one win in the last 16 games, talking about the Colts game there. Jay says, Kenny's not as good, talking about Caleb Williams. Yeah, going back and forth, Caleb Williams. Let's see here. Jay says, DJ leading the league in yards per attempt, Mr. Dump-Off. Yeah, kind of crazy. Let's see here. I don't know where he's at there. Anthony says, we aren't going to have the same offense. They had to dumb down the plays to not use the middle of the field for Russ. This opens the playbook more. We'll see. You may open the playbook more to more dumb plays.
I was about to say, I think there's dumb plays with stuff in the middle of the field. I just don't think Russ could get to the middle of the field. So you're going to see more simplistic plays. You're not going to see as much,
Daniel
crazy.
Jones wasn't short. Tyrod Taylor wasn't short. Tommy DeVito wasn't short. And what happened? Crappy play calling. Crappy play calling is what we do. It's what we do. As Jay said, great use of $10 million. It is. You didn't have to force a kid out there week one. You had somebody just in case, so you didn't have to force a decision at quarterback. It is what it is.
Yeah, listen, you get Tyrod Taylor, you pay him $9 million for the year. Do you say that's a waste of money?
Yeah.
No.
Like I said, it's he was like I said, if he's not getting paid just a couple $1 million more, then yeah, just saying. Jason's Golden Corral's unlimited. Unlimited. Anthony says they also have unlimited Olive Garden. See, he could have gone there. He should have gone right to these ads. Jay says we got better value off of Drew's super chat dance off. Well, it wasn't a dance off, first off, because
who was the dancing against?
Yeah, dance off. You have to have somebody else. Anthony says we got no value on that dance off. I never claimed to be a good dancer. Y'all said you want.
Listen, Russ moves better than you did. Just saying.
It is what it is. I never claimed to be smooth. This is why I always went to the bars that had the catwalks and all you can have conversations at when I was single. I was not going to woo anyone with my dancing, that's for sure.
Yeah, maybe an ostrich.
Yeah, not even then. Oh my gosh. Jason took his shirt off for Dwight Howard. No, I did not. Anyway, let's get into the kicking it situations. Let's kick it because we got to talk about all the whole kicking situation as a whole here, guys. So Graham Gano, we know obviously got hurt himself during the preseason warmups, which is an annual tradition amongst the Giants to have Graham Gano hurt himself randomly and then not be able to play in the game, us being without a kicker. So yeah, we went ahead and got one. And now Gano is also on IR officially with a groin injury. So he's going to be out for a while. And hopefully he's off to the Shady Acres retirement community. And we did get a new kicker. You may know of the kicker. You may not know fully how to pronounce his name. I was talking to Rob before the show. I literally had Google how to pronounce his name just to make sure because it's spelled differently than it's pronounced. We'll say it that way. Because it's spelled like two words, Young and then Ho. And I like that.
Younghoe Silver.
The pronunciation. I knew how to pronounce his last name because I've seen him enough. I've never fully heard of the first one. It's Younghoe Koo. So he's been signed officially to the practice squad. Was cut by the Falcons after missing a field goal in week 1 against the Bucks. Did go 2 for 3 in that game. So listen, Meatloaf said it's not bad. But he's been the Falcons kicker since 2019. For last year, he was 25 of 34 for them, with 73.5% positive percentage there, which is definitely much lower than his average. For his career since 2017, when he started in the NFL, 181 of 211 with an 85.8% completion. Field goal percentage there. I mean, it's just talking a 12-point drop off his average last year.
Yeah.
And they cut him after week 1, so that just tells you how thin
They're fed up.
Yeah, the thin the patience had gotten there. Now he was
especially in that division where they won a lot of games by field goal. So
yeah, and he won them games. He's also a very good onside kicker for his career too, as well. So he's actually was born in Seoul, South Korea, and moved to Jersey. So he is a Jersey boy, I guess, in a way. Played high school football at Ridgewood High School there before going to school over at Georgia Southern. So listen, it's going to be between him and Jude McAtamney, who we know point blank. We've said on the show so many times it's not even funny. He's only on the roster because he's an international player. It doesn't count against the roster.
100%.
Like, let's be honest, guys. If they were like, "Oh, this kid Jude, he's been doing pretty good. Maybe we should give him a shot," would they be signing Younghoe Koo?
Probably
no. They would not be. They don't need multiple kickers. And do you really think that Koo was like, "This is where I should go"? If they didn't say, "Hey, Gano's injured. You're going to be our starter next week," he would just sit and wait for the right moment. There's no reason to do a practice squad for him. It's kicking. You kick it. You can literally within a couple hours' notice and play for the team as a kicker.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, at least have a couple days. I mean, that's at least better. But yeah, I mean, I think it's without a doubt he's going to be there. And like I said, he's an upgrade over McAtamney. He's definitely not an upgrade over what Gano's been. But at least he's not so old he's going to break his groin while warming up for a game.
I was about to say both have been pretty solid through their career, but one's just falling a lot faster than the other.
Yeah. So
which one? Take your pick. One's injury, one's percentage.
Yeah. As Anthony says, can't wait to lose a game because we missed a 40-yard field goal. We should have figured this out before the season started. Do not disagree. And Rob and I, multiple times in the training camp, said we hope that they find somebody and he's gone.
Yeah. The thing, too, is last year, I'm pretty sure Koo missed a lot of his shorter kicks, as crazy as that sounds, compared to his longer kicks.
Yeah.
Like he missed like a 24-yard field goal. Like he missed like a, again, between the 20-30s, which is very makeable.
Very maple? Maple.
Very makeable. Yes. Maple syrup.
Maybe if he focused less on the maple syrup, he wouldn't get cut by the Falcons. Just saying.
Which is crazy because, he's Korean, not Canadian.
Anyway.
Exactly.
Jay says, that sounds good, AC. We've been losing by 2 scores most weeks. Let's see. Deb says, I'm going to send a gift membership to Bob Papa. He won't want it. We're just stupid creators. Jay says, such a troll now. Now he's going to get spammed several videos a day. He says, F Bob Papa. Oh, I love that we still got the same vibe going here. All right, guys, we're gonna pay the bills real quick, and then we'll be right back, and we're gonna go ahead and do our actual preview of the game coming up here. We're talking about the Chargers, what they're good at, what they're bad at, and keys to victory here as we hopefully get a win. But let's be honest, we're not optimistic. Yet no.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at twogiantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
All righty, here we go. Rob coming back to the show. Here he comes. Late.
Thanks, Drew.
He's late for the start. He's late for the mid.
Hey, it was on top of the start. You talked.
I'm sorry. Most shows prep for a second before they don't just walk in and go live.
Yeah, not the 5 minutes Drew likes to talk.
He's supposed to be 5-10 minutes early for that reason. And call time, God damn it. Anyway, let's go ahead and meet the Chargers here, guys. They're a little bit different of a team for us here. Let's be honest. With a lot of the people here we've known very well. We know the Commanders. We play them twice a year. We play the Cowboys twice a year. We know the Chiefs just because this team's been like going to every single Super Bowl now for the last 30 years, it feels like. So, this is one team that I think probably the first one where we're kind of learning a little bit about, so to speak, as we're playing them there. So let's go over some of the key people here. So the first one, obviously, Chargers offense. You can't talk about the offense and not talk about Justin Herbert, who, quite frankly, if Dave Gettleman had his way, would have been a giant in a heartbeat, because that's what we wanted to draft, not Daniel Jones, not realizing Herbert would stay in the league, stay in college one more year. You're running 2/3 completion not right now on his passes, 860 yards, 6 touchdowns, and just 1 interception. And he's been an absolute goddamn beast this season so far. Like, he has finally been what I think people thought all along he could and should be.
100%. He's definitely been in the top tier of the quarterbacks right now.
Yeah, and again, it's 3 games in. We got to stress that we talk about these things because, this is we said the same thing about Daniel Jones right now. It's just 3 games. Wait to see what he does at that point. So it's not fair not to say that with him either. But
yeah, there's more of a track record of what Herbert could do.
Yes,
on bad teams, bad coaching.
Very much
more. That's more positive than what happened to DJ on bad teams with bad lines.
Yes. The big new name, which you're going to see a healthy dose of probably, is Omarion Hampton, who is the first-round pick for them out of North Carolina. So far on the year, 42 carries, 142 yards, and 1 touchdown. Najee Harris, who they just signed from the Steelers this offseason, had hurt himself last week. He's going to be out of the game. 15 carries, 61 yards is all he had so far this season. So he wasn't exactly blowing the top off there. But Hampton's the guy in the running game. And guys, it's not good where he's at. He's at a 3.4 yards per carry average. Not exactly lighting the world on fire here right now. I was about to say, that's the problem, is that the Giants tend to make bad running backs look good. And on top of that, Hampton was thought to be like a surefire, player coming out of college. To give you an idea of what he did, guys, in 12 games, 1,660 yards and 15 touchdowns last season. Now, obviously, again, ACC, not SEC, not Big Ten. There's a little difference in playing there at that point there. But there was plenty of people that thought he's not, that much worse than Ashton Genty. There was people who said that point blank coming into the draft. Now, we didn't say that just for the sake of argument, but there are people who did say that. So, is it a slow start? Is he just not as good a player as people think at that point? We're going to find out. But I will say it's probably not the issues they're having an offensive line is at least part of it.
It's part of it, but also, the Chiefs are typically good against the run. It's week 1. Yeah. You got a rookie at that time. The Raiders, we'll see what they become. You got the Broncos, which has a good front up there. They're supposed to be. They're not quite there, but yeah.
Yeah. So, wide receiver wise, this is where they get really impressive what they've done so far. They got 3 wide receivers who are doing very well. Ladd McConkey, who was kind of a surprise for a lot of people how well he did in his rookie season last year. 15 catches, 163 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Quentin Johnston, who, quite frankly, we hated coming out of college, and all of a sudden he's starting to become a good receiver. 14 catches, 239 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then Keenan Allen playing in his 30th season with the Chargers. 19 catches, 194 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Absolutely insanity. And I just realized something here. I put the 3 touchdowns on the wrong guy. I don't think Quentin Johnston has. I think he has let's see here. No, yeah, he's got 3 touchdowns as well. This is not adding up. The math is not adding up. I got to look this up here while we talk about this, because that's more touchdowns than Justin Herbert has done at that point there. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's the big thing is if you want to stop the Chargers offense, that's almost all of their receiving yards is those 3 guys. They don't have, it's not a spread offense kind of thing like that. They have the 3 guys. And if you can start controlling what those guys do, easier said than done, obviously, then you can go ahead and do a lot of damage there. Ladd McConkey, that's the guy who did not get the 3 touchdowns. I don't know why I had that on there. I knew one of them had, because it was only 6 touchdowns. So, yeah, 3 touchdowns for Quentin Johnston and Keenan Allen, none for McConkey yet. But, yeah, I mean, all 3 of them are different types of receivers as well. You got Ladd McConkey, kind of the small, slot possession guy. You got a guy who in Keenan Allen, who's just the savvy veteran guy. You got Quentin Johnston, who's like the really, the bigger, tall target kind of receiver at that point. They all have their roles. So it's not even like you can sit there and say, okay, well, we need really fast corners to beat these receivers, or we need really strong guys, or we need really good zone coverage, or really good man-to-man. They're a different type of receivers. And that's part of what makes it difficult to go ahead and cover all 3 of them. Is because it's got to have kind of an individual game plan for each of them.
It's hard to do that, especially when you have to utilize 3 different. You can't double coverage all 3 of these guys. Like it's a lot of zoning, which is hard to zone when there's 2 different shots you're zoning against.
Yes. Now, besides those 3 guys, not a single player has more than 75 receiving yards in 3 games. Now think about that. It's 3 games. So you're talking none of them are averaging at least 25 yards of receiving besides those 3 guys. So when I say those 3 guys are the guys catching passes, I mean those are the 3 guys catching passes.
Yeah.
These guys are all getting, anywhere from 50 to 80 yards a game. That's the offense right there. And you heard what I said about the run stopping. I said the run average for Omarion Hampton. It's not very good. They're not running the ball very effectively either. They are 100% a team that passes to 3 receivers. And those 3 guys, they will make or break with right now, based on how they are. As far as tight ends wise, they do have Will Dissly, who was 2 catches, 25 yards, out last week, though. So we don't know. We'll have to find out what he's going to be as far as his status for this week. Arande Gadsden is the backup tight end, 5 catches, 46 yards so far in the season. So again, nothing crazy there. But their offensive line, this is the Achilles heel. And they got good players, first off. Let me be very clear on that. They have good players. They're not playing up to their potential right now. Part of that is because they have so many injuries, people playing out of position right now. So Rashawn Slater is on IR. In his place, Joe Alt, who was been playing right tackle, has now moved to left tackle. So he's now a little bit out of position now. He played left tackle in college, obviously. So, it's not like this is a guy who's never played the position before, but it's not where they intended him to be. Center Bradley Bozeman has a back injury. Right guard Mekhi Becton has a concussion issue. By the way, he's definitely going to the Golden Corral. Mekhi Becton is definitely going to the Golden Corral. Let me be very clear on that. Right tackle Trey Pipkins III was supposed to be a swing tackle, backup offensive lineman for him, now playing because of the switch Joe Alt to left tackle because of Slater getting on the IR. Now he has a knee injury. So if he can't play, you're literally going off to your 4th tackle. That's why I'm saying they got some issues there. Now, overall, though, they're putting yards up. This offense is putting up 362.6 yards per game. That's the 6th most in the NFL. But they also only get 23.3 yards points per game.
It's like 7th or something in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? Top 10.
It's 13th best in the league.
So
that's what I'm saying. So they're 6th in yards, 13th in points. They're struggling to get points. And the big reason is because they're not good in the red zone. They only get into the end zone 40% of the times they get in the red zone. That is 29th in the league. So they're just about as bad as we are.
Everything relies on bombs.
Yeah. So, and if you look at their games, think about it. If you're not scoring touchdowns when you're in the red zone, and you're getting one game you won by 6 points, one game you won by 3 points, that tells you this team, if they could just get in the damn end zone, could be a freaking powerhouse.
100%. Because you look at the Giants, who have been averaging lining up at 27 points a game, I think it is. Or sorry,
Yeah.
maybe 23, 24 points a game. But you don't score. Yeah, the complete opposite when it comes to that. Like, you score on 20 points a game on average, and that 40-point burger really helps. That 6-point burger does not help.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, that's the one thing we have going for us. Is this is a bend but don't break defense. As much as we hate it, it is what it is. It's a bend but don't break defense. And quite frankly, it's an offense that has trouble breaking. They have trouble scoring touchdowns. So, that's kind of plays in our hand to a certain degree. And the biggest issue we have on defense is stopping the run. They're already averaging 3.5 yards per carry. That's 26 in the league. 92.3 rushing yards per game, 24th. And a 0.3 rushing touchdowns per game, 22nd. Where they're really good at is the running. Is the passing. 8 yards per pass, 6th best in the league. 36 passes per game, 8th in the league. Averaging 270 passing yards, 2nd in the league. And throwing interceptions on just 0.93% of passes, which is 8th best in the league. Yeah. And then throw in the fact that the offensive line, again, has its struggles. The line is allowing Justin Herbert to get sacked on 8.47% of passing plays. That's 25th in the league. So think about it. They suck at what we suck at. You got weakness versus weakness here. With the run offense versus our run defense. And then what's supposed to be our calling card, our pass rush, is now going against their weakness. I don't think this is as scary a matchup on that side as people think necessarily. Now, I could be wrong. Herbert can go off on it, and that would not shock me in any way, shape, or form. But I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that this defense can't handle this offense. Yeah.
So how we stopping McConkey? How we stopping Quentin Johnston, Keenan Allen?
If you smack Justin Herbert to the ground, he can't get the ball out.
And if the queen had also be king.
No, but I'm saying that's what we're supposed to. That's what we're supposed to be good at. So
we're supposed to be good at.
Again, supposed to be. It's 3 games in. We still don't know for a couple weeks what really the true strengths or weaknesses of this teams are. You can just go based on what you see right now. Now, on the defense, the weird thing is this is their strength, and all their big names, I feel like, for the most part, are on the offensive side of the ball. And there's really, 3 big names on this defense. It's Dayan Henley, the linebacker, who we were big fans of coming out of the draft there. Only player on their entire roster, by the way, with 2 sacks. Nobody else has more than 1. He also has 22 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 interception. Derwin James, probably the biggest name on this defense overall. The safety, 26 tackles, a sack, 2 passes deflected. He was the AFC Defensive Player of the Week last week. So again, really, really good player. The third biggest name they have, who's what we mean about it, but he's kind of a shell of what he used to be because of the age, is Khalil Mack. Now, he dislocated a shoulder. He will be out for this game. So, but here's what they're doing, guys. They allow just 16.7 points per game, 4th best in the league. They allow 276.7 yards per game in total, 8th best. And they are literally the best defense in the red zone as far as stopping people from getting in the end zone. Just 25% of the times that a team gets in the red zone against the Chargers, they get a touchdown. Like, that's a worse percentage than the Giants probably. I have to look at the Giants numbers, but that's bad. Like, imagine getting in the end zone 4 times and only scoring a touchdown once. I should not say the Magic because we're Giants fans. We're used to that.
I was about to say, have you not seen the Giants game?
Yeah. That's just, yeah. That's what it is. That's insanity. So now you have a team that can't get in the end zone currently going against the team that's the best in the NFL at stopping people getting in the end zone. This is the side that scares me. Let me be very clear on that. This is the side that scares me. Yeah.
So, Koo last year missed 20%, 25%. So 9 points right there. So we get there to the red zone 4 times, 9 points. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like, this is literally where we're at. You know, I mean, and then you go into the rest of the defense here, and where they're at rushing wise on defense is really where their weakness is. So they're allowing 5 yards per game. 5 yards per carry on the run. That's 26th best in the NFL. They're allowing 94.7 rushing yards per game. Okay, that's 9th best. So what does that say? Teams are passing against them, but they suck at stopping the run.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure this out here. And they've been playing in close games.
It's a bit of a don't break defense. That's actually.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, let me put it this way to you. If you were going against a team and you're scoring 5 yards per run, okay? You're going every single time you're getting 5 yards on average, okay? Regardless of how it works out. I got 6 this one, I got 4 this one, whatever, okay? Why would you not be running the ball at a high, consistent pace? When you're literally talking otherwise about going against the team that is amazing against the pass. They're allowed just 5.5 yards per pass. That's 2nd best in the NFL. 182 passing yards, 9th best. And they get interceptions on 2.8% of passes. That's 10th best. So you got a team that literally can't stop the run, a team that's amazing at stopping the pass, and everybody's trying to pass on them. Just saying.
It's my NFL for you.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't understand that mentality. Like, and this is why, and I hate that Tyrone Tracy's going to be out for this game, but I really think this is part of why they made the change this week to Jaxson Dart, because you can run an RPO option kind of offense, and you can go ahead and really attack their weak rushing defense for the Chargers, and see if it's legit. I'll say it that way because, again, 3 weeks in, you don't know what you got fully with a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But I think you got Scattaboo out there and Jaxson Dart, and you don't know which one's going to run the ball. Much like we used to do with Barkley and Jones. And I'm not going to say Scattaboo is Barkley's caliber. Let me just clarify that right off the bat. We're way too excited about a guy who had one good game. But you're talking about a potential to attack a weakness between those two. And then hopefully throw in Tracy, and hopefully Tracy remembers he's a running back that used to actually be decent. Now, the other thing that I think also should be pointed out that goes in our favor is the Chargers do not have the ability really to get to the quarterback. Now we'll see again how that works when they go to our team, because that's what happens. Because they haven't produced a lot of sacks. They produce sacks in just 6.14% of passing plays. That's 21st in the NFL. Like I said, this is setting up, in my eyes, to be a more interesting matchup than you would have thought on paper when you actually look at what these teams do well. The biggest concern I have is how much does Jaxson Dart improve the red zone offense for the Giants?
That's something we're going to have to wait for. Like, you're just not going to know what you got in the skin until you put them out there, and you got to play our strengths into their weaknesses as much as possible. It doesn't mean we run the ball a lot more and let Seattle not throw that much and let them just run a little bit more. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Don't make them look like DJ.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's all craziness. Now, let's get to the comment, because you guys are having your own conversation here as well about Bob Papa still. Somehow that's Bob Papa still at the top of there. It's craziness. Let me see. Where are you guys starting here? Let's see here. I'm trying to see where you actually got started here. Let's see. Let's see. See, nope, that's not around here. Okay, nope, that's not it. Let's see. We'll go over here. Deb says Jay Ferry's content creators are hashtag just fans. Jay says, why are people so upset about that? I don't really follow that stuff, but what is happening? Deb said, I had all I could do not to go on a Bob Papa rant and Giants Insiders today, but I was good. Jay said, I would ask Drew, but he won't say names and context will be screwed up. No, I already said what I said the other day. Bob Papa basically took exception to Bobby Skinner talking about how the Giants media was trying to spin things as still this is a different team and this is a different year and this team's this close and blah, blah, blah. And the usual BS. And Bobby kind of basically said it wasn't, it was kind of sad. I don't want to put words in his mouth, so I'm trying to word that carefully because I don't have that up in front of me. And Carl Banks, who was on that video he shared with him and Sean O'Hara after the game last week, basically went after Bobby. And then he talked about it on a show with Bob Papa, and Bob Papa said, Bobby, who? He's a content creator. He's just a fan base. Again, paraphrasing. Look at the actual video. I don't want to put words in people's mouth. I don't have that preface that we're going to talk about here. But Jay says they like Papa, though. Listen, Giants Insider have to like Bob Papa because they're part of the same podcast network. So I'm not saying they don't like him personally. I don't really know the Giants Insider guys very well. Nor do I know Bob Papa at all. But, they're literally both on the Believe podcast network. So I'm sure Believe would not be very happy to see their own content creators fighting amongst themselves. That would probably not go over very well.
Yeah. Especially in a podcast, Believe.
Let's see here. Jay says, he messed up a comment about commentators being fans directed towards Bobby Skinner. If you go listen to his show from yesterday, at the end of it, he gets into it with voice clips. And Jay says, Papa just being dismissive, but they are fans, AC. Not defending him. I just don't understand what's happening. And he says, no, Bob Papa was being an absolute, we'll say gluteus maximus, to put it nicely. He essentially said the fans can't make comments. And I'm not protective of Bobby. Believe me, he doesn't need me to defend him. Nope. He does a very good job of that kind of stuff. One thing about Bobby, if you take him off and he feels that attacked, he will go back at you with no problem whatsoever. And he'll have fun doing it too.
Yeah.
Anthony says, at least that's not how I took it, especially after listening to Bobby's podcast yesterday. Jason, okay, get it. He's basically saying fans don't know anything about anything. Yeah. So, but like I said, that's where it's at. And yeah, as Jason's to believe they even pay money. I couldn't tell you, to be very frank. I could not tell you. I know people within Believe. I've talked to people within Believe. I'm not interested in many things network-wise. We talked about actually setting up our own network. I just don't have the time to do it. Boils down to between this and work and stuff. I just don't have time. But half the networks. I'll listen. I'll give you guys at least a little behind the scenes in this kind of stuff. Because I like to think we kind of give you guys kind of behind the scenes a little better than a lot of the shows do. There are a lot of networks out there, a lot of them. Some of them are set up legit and make some good money. I can tell you that the Believe Network definitely does make good money. I can't tell you if the people on their network make very good money. But I'll tell you this, most of the networks out there are BS. Rob and I have met with a lot of them at different points. We've had meetings with different ones. And most of them, quite frankly, just want to take all your money. So they'll say, oh, you come under our network, you do this, and you make, we're going to give you 30% of the, or isn't that, and I'll say the name on this one, I think it was called the Syndicate Podcast Network, with the guy who's the Lion Syndicate. And that's what it was, 30, he was going to give us 30%. And he wanted us to start a channel all over again that he owned. Yeah, that makes sense. So there, I name dropped for you, Jay. Happy. But a lot of the networks out there, quite frankly, are people that are either don't know what they're doing, but they go, oh, I got 5,000 views in a month. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to show everybody what to do. Or it's guys that, quite frankly, can't hack it on their own, and they're trying to add other people into their network at that point to basically get the clout from a whole bunch of people at once, as opposed to that. And I'll say this is my own opinions, so I don't want to speak for Rob. You can give your own 2 cents on that. I don't want to be that guy. But
yeah, no, I mean, pretty much that's what, I mean, we've done all the interviews together with these different networks, and that's pretty much what we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, most of them, like I said, either don't have no clue what they're doing. I mean, like Scary don't know what they're doing, or they're trying to take your money.
I feel like a lot of them are trying to take your money.
And Deb says, Jay Ferries, Tim is in Believe Network, which kind of surprised me. And Tim said it surprised him too. They wanted him, LOL. Yeah, but Tim's got a big following, and that's what they want more than anything else. So, Jay says, how dare you talk about Big Pat like that? Listen, I didn't talk about Big Pat at all. I like Pat. I don't think they're doing their network right. I've said that to them directly even, but he's a good guy. So I'm not talking trash about him in any way, shape, or form. Jay says, I don't understand what Believe is. I just signed into YouTube. So Believe, think of it like the shows being the shows themselves being a show on TV, and Believe is like NBC or CBS or something like that, basically. Or like they're like a Netflix, probably a better analogy. They're like a Netflix, and if your show becomes part of their digital library, basically. That's what a network is. But a network's supposed to help you with getting advertisers. It's supposed to add clout to your podcast because you're part of the blank network now. It seems like Pat Train is on the Locked On Giants podcast network. That kind of stuff. So, like I said, that's what it is. It's unfortunately, like I said, most of them are utter BS. That's basically what it is. And it's mostly, like I said, people just trying to take your money. So, yeah. Hence why we're still two giant goofballs, not a part of a network.
Yeah, two giant goofballs, not 32 giant goofballs.
Yeah, and if I can ever quit my regular job, then I'll maybe go ahead and officially start the network that I was talking about starting a couple months ago and actually started working on doing. But unfortunately, like I said, I just, between what I do here with y'all and what I do for work and stuff around that, I have no time, guys. That's what it boils down to. And it's a shame because I've helped a lot of different people that do this for other channels and stuff like that. And, I've been a big believer on people helped us when we were early on. Like you said, you've seen how loyal we are to Bobby Skinner because Bobby showed us respect and helped us out in the very beginning. I've tried to return that favor as best I can to other people in the process. Whether it be simple things like thumbnail using ad for descriptions to save you time, cutting clips, that kind of stuff, But, like I said, networks, they're unfortunately just not that much. As Anthony says, the tire shop is getting busy. Well, it's not a tire shop, so yeah. And Jay says, so then you guys are like pirate radio then. Kind of, in a way, you can kind of say that because And I'll tell you point blank, there are people who won't work with us because of some of the stuff that Rob and I say. Like point blank will not work with us. Like, and it is what it is.
Listen, your channel's called Two Giant Goofballs.
We're going to say what we're going to say. And that's all there is to it. Like, I'm not going to be beholden to somebody else saying, yo, you can't say this or that. Like, that's not going to work. If that's the case, I don't need the show. That's an inferior product. That's not fair to y'all who are listening and watching. So, and that's, again, part of the issue with networks. Some networks also can tell people now what you can or can't say. Especially
or
Giants.
Own goofballs.
The Giants themselves. So,
pretty much, Jay.
Jay says you guys won't even say but or name drops. WTF. Well, we used to cuss a lot, actually. We stopped cussing because YouTube doesn't like it.
Yeah. Well, that's 2023 season.
I already name dropped multiple people in this whole podcast I've talked about.
2023, we used to have therapy where it's just a bunch of F-bombs.
We were F. Yeah, but again, YouTube and all doesn't like that. And then they take money away from you. And we like the fact that this podcast actually pays us a little bit of money along with at least paying the bills for the podcast. Because there's a lot of podcasts that never even break even. So, which, by the way, thank you to y'all because y'all are the reason why that happened.
Mucho gracias.
So that's where it's at. So, Jay says, I thought it was a comedy podcast at first. I thought Giant Goofballs was just big men. Well, I've been called big before. Womp. And not just because I was
at one time.
At Bandcamp.
The girth.
Anyway, let's get into back to the game here, guys. But listen, I'll put it this way, Jay. You just saw me because you dropped twice. You asked me to name drop, and I did, by the way. So, like I said, if you ask questions, I will. My only time I don't want to name drop is one of two reasons. Either A, I don't want to mess with somebody's living because that's the line I won't draw. So there's members of the media and stuff that we hear things we won't do it. I will not mess with somebody's job. The second time is if it's a person sometimes that I might have respect for, but I don't respect one thing they did, or maybe I don't think their show is that good, but I think they're not bad people. I don't want to blow people up like that. I don't want that kind of karma in the world. It is what it is. Anyway, let's get to the keys to victory. So, keys to victory here for the Giants versus the Chargers. First one. The running game has to get going big time. And that includes Jaxson Dart. Like, point blank, that's where it's got to be because we saw they are really, really good against the pass. The Chargers have trouble stopping the run so far. You have to attack their weakness, which is what teams do to us all the time. Attack their weakness, which is, by the way, the whole team. But you have to go ahead and do what you can against this defense. And you got to look and go, they stop the pass. They don't stop the run. No one's really attacked their run defense fully. We should probably do that. It's stupid not to.
Yeah, especially your starter now. It's going to be Scadaboo with backup Singletary as the vet, who literally would run right through. He thinks he's a bull that's run through a concrete wall.
The problem is, I just don't want to see Scadaboo get hurt.
Well, listen, some guys are just Mighty Mouse, and that's what he is.
We'll find out.
And then you're thrown into a brand new player that there's no NFL footage on actually playing a game.
You're doing two, actually, potentially. Jaxson Dart and perhaps Dante Turbo Miller.
Correct.
So, yeah, this is a chance because we haven't been playing the offense that you can play with a guy like Jaxson Dart all year because, again, Russell Wilson is probably a couple weeks away from playing football in a rascal. He just doesn't have that mobility. Now we can do things like the RPO stuff. We can do the rolling out the pocket and stuff like that. We couldn't do that stuff before. And I think this is where it's going to get interesting because there is no tape. There is no, people don't know what's coming. And let's be honest. You think the Chargers, the defensive room, going, oh God, we got to play the Giants? They're going, oh God, we get to play the Giants. Yeah. Like, this is one of those kind of games that has that kind of like trap game mentality for the Chargers. You know, like that's where I kind of feel like. Number 2, Chargers point blank have a 3-headed monster receiver. The Giants have to force the ball to not go their way. And again, easier said than done. Let me be very clear on that.
Yeah,
but
a lot easier.
If they can figure out a scheme those guys to get covered and force them over to other receivers, that'd be very interesting to see what happens because no one's done that yet. That being said, I don't think that's what they're going to be able to do. But you got to try. Give it the old college try.
Yeah.
Next up, Jaxson Dart has to not turn the ball over. That's a big concern you always have with rookies. You know, like that's a guy who point blank you expect to have some turnovers potentially. Because the Giants have had issues with turnovers. Jaxson Dart's a rookie quarterback. You expect rookies to make mistakes. Like, you got to expect that is a possibility. But the Giants, to have a chance in this game, need to play in a system where they're not giving up turnovers because they can't get turnovers. The Giants have proven that. Can't get interceptions. Okereke gets the ball ripped right at him by Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Kermit the Frog got his goddamn ball back.
We'd really like that ball back, please. Thanks.
Oh my gosh. That's your Kermit the Frog?
Do better.
Kermit the Frog here.
That much better.
A little better. Let us know in the comments. Who is the better Kermit the Frog? Rob, me, or let's be honest, neither one of us are good at it. But like I said, I think that's a big part of it there. Number 4, Herbert has to be given pressure at all times. If you let him sit comfortable, it's going to spell disaster. Like, point blank, we talked about it. They can't run the ball. As much as they can't stop the ball, they can't run the ball either. You need to get Herbert's face. You need to make him uncomfortable. And quite frankly, you need to be sending the big 4 at all times.
Just blitz, blitz, blitz.
As Jay says, both are terrible, by the way. I told you. Thought it's the right answer. It's not even necessarily blitz because here's the thing with this. Like, you got a banged up offensive line on their side, regardless of who plays, and we'll find that out later this week who actually plays for the Chargers. A banged up offensive line. You have Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter. You should be able to rush those 4 and get pressure. You should be able to.
Should be.
Should is the key part. Because if you take guys off that and blitz them instead of having those guys in coverage, you're not going to be able to cover the big 3. And that's where you get that fine line. I think you got to start, with a situation where those 4 guys are just pushed at the quarterback nonstop. And then based on how that pass rush is going, you might try to, let's throw one more person. Just to see what happens, basically. But yeah, you got to go ahead and figure out some way to go ahead and get where Justin Herbert doesn't feel comfortable. A comfortable Justin Herbert is a very bad sign for the Giants.
100%. And yeah, as Giants fans, we know about that. Like, let's just be in the face and just up in front. Let's go, go, go.
That's it. Number 5, Neighbors has to be involved in the offense.
Without a doubt.
If he goes a whole first half without a freaking reception again, I'm going to flip the hell out.
I mean, look at him, like, when you just throw it to him a few times a half, like, pretty impressive. When you don't throw it to him, he can't be a playmaker.
Yeah,
it's just that simple. Like, you don't put him in the game, he can't be in the game. It's not rocket science. My God,
it's in the game. See, and we lost Rob. That's how kicked off Rob is. Like, but we have to go ahead and get that done. Like, we have to go ahead and get him in to this gaming involving the offensive game plan. And the one thing I would love to do, and I don't want to be one to ever really do the OBJ Neighbors comparison, but one thing OBJ was great at was those in-slants. And I think that's something that Neighbors also has that potential to do. He's very good at making the quick moves. He's very good at making people miss once he catches the ball, as long as you throw him in stride. I'd love to see more of that. And I don't know if that's the issue we're talking about with the middle of the field there with Russell Wilson having trouble seeing that, or if it's just something they didn't incorporate in the offense very much. But I think that'd be a fun way of getting him involved. May not be the big touchdown bombs and stuff like that, but those are plays that you're going to get 10, 15 yards on each time. And that's assuming he only makes like one guy miss. Doesn't make a huge play, which is always a possibility whenever that kid gets his hands on the ball. Number 6. Chargers don't run the ball well. Keep it that way. Because we have a tendency to make teams that don't run the ball very well look good at running the ball. You can't do that with this Chargers team. They already have a prolific passing offense. If you give them a chance to have a run game to go along with that, you're done. Point blank, you're done. And I don't think anybody's scared of Hampton as a running back right now, the way he's running the ball. Omarion Hampton either is not going to be very good or just hasn't gotten his stuff together yet. We'll find out as time goes. But I feel like the big thing is if you can go ahead and keep it that way, where the Giants have to focus on just the run and that's it, because we can just stop just the pass and that's it, because we can just stop the run because it's not good. Then all of a sudden, you have a better chance of adding that pressure onto Herbert, covering those 3 receivers. And if you can't go ahead and stop the run, you can't focus on stopping the pass, because now you have to try to scheme both, where you shouldn't have to scheme the run defense early. The run defense should be able to just take care of itself because of how bad their rushing attack is. Next up, number 7. You got to give Dart time. Again, rookies do tend to hold on to the ball too long. And on top of that, the Chargers don't tend to rush the passer very well. This offensive line has to keep Dart upright. You have to give him a chance to read the field. You have to go ahead and give him chances to learn. And that's easier said than done, I know.
I was about to say, it's a lot easier said than done. Have you seen our offensive line?
I have, and you know what? Andrew Thomas looked damn good the first half, and he was out there against the Chiefs. If you notice, we were I don't want to say scoring a lot of points and a really great offense, but we're moving the ball a lot better with him in there. It's a huge difference with or without him. And I'm wondering if the plan is to keep him out there full time because of the fact that Jaxson Dart's going to be in there. And to answer Jay's question, I was about to say there, we don't know what's going to happen with Thomas this game. We don't know if he's going to be on the 25 snap count thing again, or he's going to be out if he's going to be in 3 quarters this week, or what the case may be. I'm hoping he's out there the whole time. Point blank. I'm hoping he's out there the whole time, and they go ahead and say, you know what? Whoever sucks the most, we're going to pull you out and go ahead and put Bo in there in your place, because Bo can play pretty much anywhere in the offensive line. And I actually don't think it's ruining him. I think he legit can. I think he's that talented. Zudu couldn't handle it. That was their mistake with Zudu. I think Bo can. And
he's going to be hungry.
So
yeah, he's hungry enough to play. He's going to play wherever he can.
Yeah, and I don't know where you want to go with that. I mean, John Running's not been good. That's the truth of the matter there. You also got a situation where, Greg Van Roten has not been as good as he was last year, but you also have the situation where JMS sucks. Ideally, I would say you move Greg Van Roten to center and you put Marcus Poe at right guard. But I'm not there with him in practices and stuff like that to see, how he looks at guard per se, to have that kind of opinion. So I'm going to word it that way as well, as that's what I would do, assuming that the coaching staff agrees he can do that. So, we will find out overall. Next up, and you guys have mentioned this already. I see a couple comments on it. It's on the list. Got to play clean. You got to get the goddamn penalties down.
Yeah.
You can't give up 100 yards in penalties and expect to beat this team. This is going to be an efficient team, the Chargers. That's what they are. They're not overpowering on offense. They're not the powerhouse offense. They're a really great defense and efficient passing offense. They're not going to be like top 5 in the NFL in least penalties.
It's like fighting an anaconda. Once they get around you and start roughing up, like it's game over.
By the way, did you see the new Anaconda trailer?
I did. Fantastic.
It's absolutely hilarious. Everybody, if it's not it's kind of a sequel, kind of not a sequel. Go look at the trailer. It's freaking hilarious. I'm actually very much looking forward to it.
It's like Tropic Thunder met Anaconda.
Yeah, probably not the worst analogy. Yeah, like I said, that's where it's going to be. It's going to be interesting to see that movie when it comes out. But
either way, I'm a snake playing a dude disguised as another snake.
We're not. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. Robert Downey Jr. is not in that one.
I was the Anaconda there. Come on.
That's the key to the victory here. Like I said, 8 things that the Giants do. Quite frankly, we actually could win this game. I still say could. We do everything right and still lose this game because, quite frankly, the Chargers are the better team. Sometimes you can't estimate the fact that talent matters, coaching matters, and while I don't think we're as far apart in players as we are in coaches, we are miles apart in coaches, and that's an issue.
It's a big issue. It's you're talking about, Harbaugh's a tough coach to work for, but he whips everyone. He whips everyone in line.
All he does.
Exactly. I was about to say, ask Michigan.
Yeah.
Before he ran out of there, what'd he do? Got you a title.
What? Who said that? Jay says, "Does the Chargers right tackle suck?" Well, I don't know him that well, but I would. But he's
for the right price.
Trey Pippins. I looked it up for you guys to verify his PFF grade. Again, that's all you can really go based on, unless you want to watch all the film with the Chargers. And you're looking at 50.5 PFF grade, 79th out of 101 tackles, 53.5 pass block, 48 run block. So, yeah, not exactly a great, a great right tackle. And again, he might not even be healthy. We're going to find out, as time progresses, because he's on the injury report. We're going to find out if he actually plays. He's considered questionable for the game right now. And he is, like I said, he's their swing tackle because Joel moved to left tackle because Rashawn Slater is out on IR. So that's what I'm saying. That to me is the biggest thing. Is our pass rush literally has a chance to go ahead and show what it was supposed to show all year and hasn't shown yet. So let's hope this is the week it does it, guys. I'm not optimistic. We'll be very frank on that. Rob, do you think we have a shot in hell?
Yeah. Listen, any given Sunday, we always have a shot. But our probability to win is, being optimistic, is probably at like a third, 33%.
See, I think 20% is optimistic.
Listen, the only thing I have to say, the only reason why I'm saying that, and I don't agree Dart should start against this top flight.
Dart should start.
Don't interrupt. I don't interrupt you. That's mean. That's
starting
mean.
Time. It's starting time.
Yeah, that's mean.
I mean,
you are mean. Put you in the back room. Anyway, I don't agree that you should start Dart against this elite defense, but what you have is the element of surprise now. You have Tracy out, you have Scadaboo in, you have Dart in, who has no footage on him in the NFL. So it's a completely new offense to this team that's very maniacal. And they actually look at the film and study the history of what these teams are doing and different cues. Well, guess what? You don't really have that going forward. And you have the ability in a younger quarterback to actually be mobile and move around outside of the pocket, maybe make some deep throws, throw down the middle so you could surprise this defense and actually start playing some ball that no one's used to. Because going into this game, they were probably just scheming, let's just stop the run because they can't throw the ball. And our secondary can stop the deep ball. So let's just start stacking the box. And now they have to go, well, can't rely on that. Like, let's put a spy on Dart. Like, what do we do here? So there's that probability. And if our defense actually plays like they're supposed to play, like, yeah, I'll give it a 30% chance to win.
Oh, it feels
And now
weird.
you're Rob.
No, there's no names now. We can do this.
Oh, God, it feels so
Just
weird. It
feel
feels
wrong
dirty.
for watching.
You ever, like, it's like sleeping on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
No, I want to be by the door.
We're men. We're supposed to be by the door. That's the rule. I know it's
Amen.
sexist, but it's what it is. It's just supposed to be protector. Only thing I'm protecting is the fridge. It's easy to get up, go to the door, and get a midnight snack. Oh my gosh! All right, guys. Well, that's gonna call it a night for us here. We'll be back again tomorrow. Keep in mind, tomorrow we do our picks episode of all the Week 4 picks, as I try to make up for the tomfoolery I pulled last week. As Rob and I have basically, I didn't even put in the who got the last point to see if we tied up for the season now or not. But
I think the difference was the over under, and I got the over. We both lost because Ravens.
Yeah,
I look at it, but I think I think
the over under. The only thing we had different, I know that, so I didn't look at that. So I'm down by 2 points now for the season after last week's debauchery. So it is what it is. But yeah, guys, we'll be back up again here tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, we are live on our preferred platform, YouTube, along with Facebook, Twitter /X, and of course, Rob's favorite, LinkedIn.
Dude,
I said it for you because I skipped Twitch. I totally skipped Twitch. I'm like, what did I forget here? I knew I forgot something. Only like 500 and someone. I think I get it by now. And of course, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms. Again, we got to give a shout out to all the audio listeners because we did officially yesterday break our record for most downloads on the audio platforms in a month, and we still have another week to go, guys. So yeah, definitely kudos to everybody that's helped us got there. Appreciate everybody that's supporting us. Because I always feel bad. All y'all video people, like a lot of the regulars here are in the live at that point, but we have thousands of people that listen to the audio, and they're not here with us. So I always feel bad. You're here with us in spirit, guys. We promise. We think about you. We appreciate you all. There is the fan mail option, which I know a couple of y'all do every so often. We try to respond to all of those as well, but we can always include those in the show as well. So, we definitely want to make sure you guys are part of it. So, again, guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Appreciate you guys for listening as always. And Rob, are we still doing the sad version, or are we going to do like the energetic version since Dart's
energetic
back?
For now? Yeah, because we got some excitement to go for.
Dart. So, as always, Giant fans,
go David!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.